Are you in a relationship right now and you're thinking of getting married? And you've got an engagement ring. Okay, I'm not wearing my ring, but I think I've been married for about 5 years now. I don't really often wear my ring. I should. Also during this COVID time, I don't wear anything that I don't need to wear. Anyway, so these are some things that I'm going to do a series on, things that you have to talk to your partner about before getting hitched. This one's going to be about talking about whether to have kids or not. You have to be on the same page before you get married with someone. Without a doubt, you have to see eye to eye on this question, because it's not like there's a refund, right? Like there's no refund or return policy. You can't turn back time. Once you're pregnant, you're not, once you have a baby, it's not like you can put it back. So if you're polar ends with your partner, like one really wants children and the other doesn't, and neither of you are willing to budge, there's no give or take, it's almost certain that you're going to resent one another. It's an unhealthy dynamic because it's a catch-22. For example, one doesn't want children, one does, and you decide to go with not having kids. The person who wanted kids and you've decided not to have kids are going to watch other people, their peers, their friends, their families create families. And then you're going to resent the person who wanted to not have kids. And then if you decide to have children, but one of your partner doesn't want children, it's the same resentment, right? The person who didn't want kids now has kids. They may think, well, they're going to see their friends who are childless friends, go on, lead their lives, and spend their time effortlessly without the parenting responsibilities that it's going to start, especially in the early years, when the child is very demanding, right? There's a lot of work that needs to be done. That's when a lot of couples the relationship deteriorates. Relationship can deteriorate. It's a very vulnerable time relationship right after a child is born. So you really need to be on the same page. You don't want that to pull you guys apart, and dragging a kid through it's just not worth it. And if you both don't want kids, perfect. If you both want kids, then really talk about when you want kids and how. Like really go into that conversation before you get married. Like, when do you want to have them? Because someone might be like, I want to eventually have them, but I don't mind waiting a while before I get there. Or the other person might be like, well, no, I want to have my child before a certain age, or immediately. And then also to talk about whether do they have to be biological children, and how open both of you are to fertility treatments if necessary. And then of course the option of adopting. And you may not know exactly what you want, but to talk about those issues I think is a great conversation to have with your partner. And then the idea of how many children to have, I think that's something that can be discussed if you do decide to have children. Have the first one, see how it goes, because it changes. Because some people might be firm on the one, and they're both firm on one. That's totally one and done. Awesome. But if one person's like, I'm one and done, and the other person's like, well, I want more than one, try with one and see how it goes. See what you think of being a parent is like. Because then you'll have a better idea of what having kids in your life looks like. So talk about whether you want to have kids with your partner. This is very important. You have to be on the same page. And if you're both uncertain and you really don't know whether you want kids in the future, and you're both kind of just in a limbo time, that I actually I've created an ultimate guide to deciding whether you should have kids or not. Check it out. It's in one of my video series on YouTube. It's also a blog post in all the different formats that you need. It's also in a podcast. I've read it to help you make a decision.